Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. And as we know, communism is an awful, awful thing. It removes rights, it removes freedoms, but most of all, it removes dignity. And that is why virtually every communist country in the world has failed. The only two that haven't failed simply haven't failed yet: Communist China and North Korea. So why should we listen to communists? Well, we shouldn't. And yet this government has. The British government listened in part to a communist, a mad woman who wanted to remove rights and freedoms. But not just through the coup, not just through the period of the last couple of years. She wants to remove rights and freedoms forever. And now she's been appointed by the World Health Organization in order to extend her agenda of removing rights and freedoms. I've already said on several occasions how awful and left-wing the WHO is. Further proof is unnecessary. One merely look at this appointment. So here's the article, and you wonder what the hell is going on and who would possibly listen to an idiot like this. So this is it. The WHO appoints a veteran Communist Party of Britain member to an advisory panel, and there she is, Susan Michie. She is mad, bad and evil. She wants to remove rights and freedoms, and she wants to break up families and relationships. She does this because she's a communist, and communists hate families because families hang together stronger than any kind of political allegiance. So getting into the article here. A veteran Communist Party of Britain member has been appointed a chair of a World Health Organization lead advisory group. Professor Susan Michie, Mad Michie, director of the Centre of Behaviour Change, and that's the thing, behaviour change. She wants to change the behaviour of the masses, of the people of Earth, because that way they can control us. If they can't change our behaviour, they cannot control us. And she is desperate for the free will of the people to be eradicated and for people to be controlled. And she's at University College London, which is a Marxist organisation if ever there was one. She will head the WHO's Technical Advisory Group on Behavioural Insights and Sciences for Health. Why? Why do you need a communist for this? We know they're left-wing. We know they're incredibly left-wing. But a full-blown, self-admitted communist, I mean, talk about putting the flags up. Anyway, the Times reports that the UCL academic, who is a frequent contributor to the BBC and ITV, no surprise there with the BBC, that's another left-wing organisation, and has been a member of the Communist Party of Britain for more than 40 years, and therefore is a loser because communism is the worst thing possible. It eradicates everything it touches. Nothing ever works with communism. We know that because of the... Well, let's put it this way. How do we know communism doesn't work? Because it fails every time it's been tried, without fail. Michie was propelled to public attention in 2021 when she said wearing masks and social distancing should continue for the long term to suppress the Chinese coronavirus and other diseases. What she said was that, in fact, not just for the duration of the pandemic, but social distancing and masks should be permanent. She wants to break up relationships. She wants to break up societal bonds. And if you're wearing a mask and you're hiding your face, you're loosening that bonding process. And social distancing, less bonding. Because that way, when they strike, you've got fewer people that you can rely on. It is evils of communism. This woman should be fired from her advisory group. We'll come to that. The academic, and I'm going to use the word very wrongly because nobody as stupid as she should ever be called an academic, was a member of the influential Scientific Advisory Group for Emergencies, SAGE, at the time at which Downing Street was being advised on how to respond to the pandemic. She said people's behaviour was the key in controlling the pandemic. It's since been proven that no, it hasn't. And in fact, many of the things they thought would help haven't helped whatsoever. And indeed, some of the measures they brought in have made things worse. One only has to look at the mental condition of young children, which is at an all-time low. One only has to look at the massive rise in self-ending that occurred, the massive increase in over-drinking. So many other things went wrong. The increase in heart attacks, the increase in cancer deaths, the increase in stroke deaths. All these things because that stupid, mad communist woman said, this is a good idea, cover their faces, keep them separate, do not let them mix. Do as I say, I'm a communist. Michie told Channel 5, according to the Daily Telegraph, that's the behaviour of social distancing, of when you're indoors, making sure there's good ventilation, or if it's not, wearing face masks of hands and surface hygiene. We will need to keep this going in the long term, and that'll be good not only for COVID, but to reduce other diseases. Well, wasn't so great for the heart attacks, was it? Asked for how long the measures should continue, Michie, the mad woman, who had reportedly earned in her youth the nickname Stalin's nanny, because she's that left-wing and dangerous, said, I think forever. To some extent, because this isn't going to be the last pandemic. Yeah, it probably won't. But since we know that masks made no difference, and that social distancing increases other diseases, one only has to ask who the hell she thinks she is. The WHO's Advisory Group on Behavioural Insights and Sciences for Health, which is a Marxist organisation designed not to increase public health but to change public behaviour to make it easier for the New World Order to control us, consists of renowned experts. And they've had to put renowned experts in quotes because we know that they're neither renowned nor experts. And represent a broad range of disciplines. So this is the World Health Organization, and it's not employing health experts. It's employing Marxists, communists, and behavioural psychologists. Why is it not employing doctors? It's got economics, anthropology, and psychology. And psychology, before you ask, is not a science. According to the organisation's website. No doctors there, no medicines, but it's got an economist. It's got an anthropologist. Yeah, that's useful. The group provides expert advice for the development of a roadmap for WHO to define a mechanism to systematically include behavioural evidence in its work and in national health policies. No, your job isn't to do that. Your job is to come up with a cure. Until you get that, the WHO remains a Marxist, hate-filled, anti-Western organisation. So they've employed and made it worse. They've employed a woman who admires the Chinese and admires the communist system with its camps in which one concentrates and its gulags and its mass endings of people. The 20 million at least under Stalin she admires. The 50 to possibly 100 million under Mao she admires. The treatment of the people of North Korea she admires. And now they've given her a job. We completely ignore the WHO. We should pull out, and America should pull out, and any sane Western country should pull out and stop funding them. And tell them, go to China. Let China fund you. Anyway, I'm going to come up now before I go bonkers. So you have to ask why they're hiring a communist to control the behaviour of vast amounts of people. If we're not careful, we'll be sleepwalking into a dystopian future. Vigilance is required. Constant vigilance. And don't listen to them. Don't give them respect. Don't pay attention. Ignore them. When they say one thing, do the complete opposite, because nothing they say or do is for your benefit. Anyway, I shall end here. If you like what you hear and see on the channel, please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Ring the bell for notifications of future output. Leave a like, leave a comment, and until next time, stay safe, stay well, don't listen to the buggers, and goodbye.